Welcome back to the Grid Aces show. I'm your host, Connor Hall, here with Mr. Football, Father Goaty. How we doing, Chase?
It was a slightly disappointing week for my Philadelphia Eagles. Still a great season. I'd feel almost a little bit ungrateful if I couldn't have gratitude for a team going out and winning the division, winning 11 games. And obviously, it wasn't exactly what we wanted, but still super grateful, especially when we see a lot of good teams with good quarterbacks not go back to the playoffs, like the Chiefs, the Ravens. The Bengals haven't gotten back in forever. All these teams that should be in the playoffs perennially aren't getting back. So I got to be grateful that we were able to win the division. But this last wild card weekend was unbelievable. I think every game was good up until that Monday night game was probably the only one that wasn't even somewhat really interesting. But we started off super hot. Those first four games were just awesome. And then I guess the Patriots one was a little bit less to be desired as well. But unbelievable wildcard weekend from an unbiased fan that just likes to watch football and good games. That was one of the best weeks we've got to see ever in the wildcard weekend.
I would have to agree. Now, we've got a short episode for you guys today. A lot of things happening around us. So we're going to make sure to get you guys some content previewing this upcoming week. Before we get into it, though, back to what you're saying about the Eagles. For those that don't know Chase, there's few fans quite like him where you do not want to be in the same room as Chase if the Birds lose. So for me, watching the Birds lose, I was like, oh, this is not going to be good. I decided to wait a little while to text you, see how you were doing. And then obviously we have a Niners fan, homie, and he wasn't even going to dare talk to you, I don't think, for a week. So until the little one came. So, bad news when the Eagles lose, but I would agree. Last week was cinema. I don't think we were shorted in any way. We had one bad game, like you said, Monday night. But if I'm getting one bad game in the entire wild card round, that's a win. So, and for me, I had Texans winning, so I was pretty happily able to watch them stress-free cash my bet. So that was cool for that. Let's look ahead into this weekend, though. The matchups get, one might say, even more exciting and honestly even harder to predict, I think, at this point after seeing those games. So, Chase, let's start it off with the first game on Saturday, the 4:30 Eastern time game, Bills, Broncos. Who you got?
Great way to start off the divisional round. In this one, it's tough because home field advantage has to be worth something. And obviously the team that got to be rested, the Bills, Josh Allen's banged up. I think he has every injury known to mankind. Man's just given his body. I've seen the memes of what's it like, Catwoman talking to Batman, like, you owe these people no more. You don't need to give them your life
Oh, he
or
got
whatever. And
wrecked last game.
and then they're down to only three receivers on their roster. I think two of them weren't even on the team to start. They're down to three. One, Keon Coleman, they've benched a whole bunch. You have Brandon Cooks, who they picked up, who was just like on, cut from other teams. And then they have Khalil Shakir, who's, a solid wide receiver 3 on most teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like so hard. But at the end of the day, I can be mad at myself. I will be mad at myself if I bet the Broncos and lose. I won't be mad at myself if I bet the Bills and lose. And at this point, it's a -1.5 in the game, a +100 on the money line. I think the better value when I think it's a 50-50, give me the +100, and we'll ride with the underdog. Always fun rooting for the underdog. And Josh Allen's a pretty dope dude, so that's my pick.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm rooting for the Bills in this one. I also think it's possible for him to get it. My biggest concern going into Mile High, I think that's one of the toughest places to play because of the elevation. And then The defense matched up with the Bills' offense is what concerns me, considering what you mentioned about Josh Allen being hurt. Is there a world where Keon Coleman just goes off this game? Or do you think that's beyond us?
I think there's a world because, based off his options, he's going to have to throw it to somebody. So somebody's going to
Because
have to
they don't
catch the
like him
ball.
over there.
Yeah, but they might, honestly, the Broncos might be like, okay, well, Pat Surtain, we're going to have you draped all over Shakir. And then it's going to give more opportunities to Keon Coleman, where he's going up against, Riley Moss,
Yeah.
the
Couple
Walmart version of
PIs.
Cooper DeJean. But yeah, so I don't know. I think there could be a world. I wouldn't bet on it. I mean, I think this is going to be a low scoring game because I don't really think much of the Broncos offense. I think very highly of the Broncos defense. I think the Bills, I'm seeing this game being like a 20-16, Bills winning on a late Josh Allen hero drive touchdown. But honestly, this one wouldn't surprise me if the Broncos move on. Um, just being the home team, being the more well rested team, being the healthier team. But if I told you right now, hey, you get to put your money on Bo Nix or Josh Allen, you're probably going to say Josh Allen. I know, obviously, you look at their situations that they're in, and everyone would rather have the Broncos defense, and maybe the Broncos scheme or the Broncos health right now, but I can't bet against Josh Allen. I'll happily lose a Josh Allen bet. I will not happily lose backing Bo Nix.
I'm with that. Now, let's say Bills do end up losing. Is Sean McDermott gone, you think?
I mean, nowadays with these coaches, I mean, you can be fired for making the playoffs. You can be fired for never having a losing season. So
Well,
I
it
think he's still
depends,
going to
though,
be
because
there,
he
though.
doesn't meet Ryan Clark's criteria for getting fired.
That's true.
So,
But yeah, no, that's fair. But yeah, no, I think he's going to stay because I think Josh Allen likes him. And I think the only way that he would get fired is if Josh Allen did something where like what Lamar did, where Lamar kind of really didn't back his coach much. If Josh Allen doesn't really back Sean and goes and talks with the owner or says something like, hey, can't do it with him, then maybe, but I doubt it. I think Sean McDermott's a good one. And having 10 open jobs would just be absolutely insane. So I'm going to say
yeah.
no, he stays no matter what.
Okay. Yeah, and I honestly can't really see, like, Josh Allen doesn't strike me as the guy that's doing that. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't think so.
it should be a good game. We're obviously rooting for a movie, and Josh Allen's going to get his calls after all the controversy last year in the Chiefs game, and the Broncos do leave some PIs on the table, so it'll be interesting to see how the officiating goes in this game. I think that's going to be also a big determining factor because it could be a close one. So kickers need to show up. It's going to be a defensive battle. Next, the Saturday night game, 8 o'clock Eastern time, we have the 49ers taking on the Seahawks. What you got there?
Awesome rivalry game. I saw a stat that this doesn't happen very often, but it happened back in 2022. But before 2022, it hadn't happened for like 20 years. But this is a rare occurrence where we have three teams from the same division all in the divisional round. So advancing to that point. Last time it happened was 2022 in the NFC East when you had the Giants surprisingly won a playoff game. That kind of shocks everybody. The Eagles had the bye at the time, and the Cowboys won a playoff game as well. So pretty shocking there that the Cowboys made it. But so honestly impressive. These teams are battle tested. The 49ers came off a great win. Honestly, the coaching job of the year, and I think that's a two-parter by Kyle Shanahan and by Robert Saleh, who's probably the best defensive coordinator in football. Not that he had to do much to stop that, mundane, very predictable Kevin Patullo Eagles offense. But still been super impressive the season they've put together. When we see division rivalries, it's way harder to beat, a divisional rivalry than it is to beat anybody else, right? There's a reason that the 49ers split with the Rams and why the 49ers split with the Seahawks. I know they were perfect against all these teams who were undefeated against the Cardinals, but that's not shocking. So
Right.
In this one, if I can get a touchdown, or a plus 270 on the money line in a divisional rivalry game. I know the Niners are on the road. I know that they had a very embarrassing game against them last time. I know they're definitely have the rest disadvantage, the injury disadvantage. But man, those Niners team, it's a tough team to kill. They got embarrassed by the Seahawks last time. Kyle Shanahan's going to watch that tape. There's no way that he's getting held to 3 points again, right? They're going to score at least, I'm going to say, I think the Niners get at least 20 points. And if I told you the Niners get 20, do you really think the Seahawks, after what we've seen the last few weeks, are going to come out and put on with a bunch of points on them? Potentially, everyone's doubted that defense. But Robert Saleh showed up week in and week out. So I would like the Niners plus the 7 points and sprinkle the money line.
Yeah, I don't hate the take. Now, I know we're keeping a short episode, and so we're gonna stay on predictions. But you just reminded me of something that I was wanting to talk about when we were planning on doing a normal show. AJ Brown, because you kind of mentioned the offensive scheme, right? Run it up the middle, run it up the middle, throw to AJ Brown.
Deep
Did you
ball.
see? Yeah, did you throw the or did you see the video of I mean, you obviously saw the one of Sirianni going up to him in the game. Did you see the one of him post game?
Which was the post game one? Probably not.
I'll play it here. Hopefully it doesn't wreck the audio.
I didn't hear it. What did it say?
So let me see. If I show you this, maybe you'll be able to see it a little
That
bit.
one wasn't from the last game.
Yeah, this was.
No, it wasn't. That was when they beat the Bills.
Really?
They just posted it after.
So they
that.
tried to just frame it like that.
Yeah, the Eagles haven't won a game since that point. That was against the Bills, and Sirianni's chirping the fans because the fans were chirping him, "Hey, Sirianni, you suck, you suck." Yeah, so this is after the Bills game. You can see that's the Bills stadium. You see all the blue? So not in Philadelphia. What was the audio there at the end?
He said, "Not so much anymore."
Yeah.
Love this
So
shit.
that was a clip from the Bills game, and so everyone posted it because it was so interesting. Because your coach shouldn't act like that. Like obviously they won, and so Sirianni was like talking his talk after a bad win over the Bills, and then you can see how fed
I didn't
up
see that video
at that point. Yeah, so they posted it after. I saw it got posted after the Eagles wildcard win, where it was like the Eagles didn't win after this point, right? Because then they went and they rested their starters week 18, and then they lost the divisional round there, obviously, or the wildcard round to the Niners. And someone's like, the Eagles didn't win after this point, and you can see how bad the relationship was between Nick Sirianni and AJ Brown, to the point where you see AJ Brown literally looks at him when he's acting. Nick Sirianni's acting like an idiot there. Like you don't chirp the fans as a coach. Like you don't see any high profile good coaches do that. So, and you can see AJ Brown's just like, in that moment. And then it gives us more context because then we saw what their relationship was on Sunday on the sideline when everyone without Nick Sirianni yelling at AJ Brown's bad. The context that people believe is because AJ Brown kind of dropped that ball. It was a beautiful throw by Hurts. Yeah, he dropped a bunch. It was like, I mean, he had his hands, he had to catch it. It would have been a nice catch. If you're paying, wide receiver 1 is supposed to make that catch. If it was a wide receiver 3, you might give him a little bit of grace, but you're not going to give grace, obviously, to the person that says, "I want the ball, I need the ball," and drops
when he's been complaining all.
But what Sirianni was yelling him at for is the Eagles. They wanted to see if they could catch them, like jumping off sides or something on that 4th down punt, and giving them a bunch of time, right? Because you rush out the punt team, right? And there's 25 seconds in the clock. You can potentially get them to jump, But AJ Brown, after that play, after he obviously didn't make a good play, was walking off the field. Not jogging off the field. Everybody was off the field. It was just AJ Brown that's just strolling off the field. And so Nick Sirianni was yelling at him, "Get off the field, get off the field." Because he was obviously just like kind of almost moping around on the field still. So that's why Nick Sirianni shouldn't have gotten in his face, shouldn't have yelled at him. And if he's going to yell at AJ Brown like that, he needed to yell at Kevin Patullo all season like that. Like, what are these plays? You know, so,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
interesting.
Bro, what's funny is I'm in my head, right? When this happens, all these clips are coming out, right? So I'm
Yeah.
seeing obviously him getting in the face, and it was on the broadcast of him getting in the face too. And then I'm
Yeah.
seeing, this clip of him in the tunnel, and I'm painting this picture like, dude, what is going on? These guys are just beefing. So that makes a lot more sense with the
Yeah,
context of it,
I
which
still don't think
I
they
figured
like
you'd
each other,
have.
but yeah, that clip was from the Bills game. But it shows you that they don't really like each other. I don't think the Eagles are going to trade AJ Brown because their cap hit is already like 20 something million for him. If they trade him, it's an additional 20 million of cap hit. So his cap hit if he doesn't play for the Eagles is like almost 50 million. If he
Dude, I
plays for the
know,
Eagles, it's
but
like 25 million. And right now, um, I don't think Howie Roseman's going to accept a bad deal to not get a lot of value for him. And he's especially not going to accept a deal where you don't get a lot of value for him and then take a bigger cap hit for a bad deal. So I think what's going to happen is when they get the OC, part of their OC job is like, hey, you got to come in here, fire up AJ Brown and Nick
is Kevin
Sirianni.
Patulio out?
Yeah, Kevin Patullo got fired as the offensive coordinator, but because he's Nick Sirianni's best buddy, he's still going to be on the staff, which is fine because I think sometimes on these staff they don't do anything. But like, yeah, he was
Mm-hmm.
like, the Eagles went to 2 Super Bowls with Kevin Patullo on the staff. He just didn't have a meaningful role really. So as long as he's not calling plays and it's not his offensive scheme and it's not Sirianni's scheme, and it is Mike McDaniel's fresh outlook on the offense, or Cliff Kingsbury's fresh outlook on the offense, or Brian Dable's outlook on the offense and their
Hey, y'all
offense,
get Mike McDaniel. That'd be tough.
I don't know. That's
That'd
too good
be
to be true.
tough.
I don't.
Yeah, I
And
think
this is a
so
side
too.
note, and my battery's doing fine, but
Okay.
little side note about all those head coaching openings. Two things. First of all, if I told you there is 9 head coach openings and Zach Taylor still has a job and Aaron Glenn with the Jets still
It's
have a job, you'd call
unbelievable.
me
The
crazy.
fact
That
that
there
Zach
should be
Taylor,
11
I
openings.
mean, Aaron Glenn's crazy too. I almost think Zach Taylor's crazier though.
Oh, I don't know. They're so bad. Aaron Glenn
I know
literally
Aaron Glenn.
admitted
I
that the
know.
players
No, I
quit.
know Aaron Glenn's been
Got
horrible.
blown out in back-to-back weeks to finish the season.
He took over
But
a Robert Saleh led team and did worse. I thought Robert Saleh I thought him getting fired. I mean, that was mainly just Rodgers and
and
Woody.
yeah, and
Um,
I think the Eagles. I think obviously if you're Mike McDaniel, he's gonna take a top head coaching job if available. He'll go and take. I bet he would. I bet he would probably take the Ravens. Obviously, the Giants we know are
do
going
you think
John
he's
Harbaugh.
getting interviewed for a head coaching job at this point?
Yeah, he got interviewed. I know for the Browns one, and I think he got
A
interviewed for the Falcons
real head
one.
coaching job?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm
Sorry,
just kidding.
Falcons.
Yeah.
I think I know he got interviewed for the Falcons one, and
Okay.
he got interviewed for the Browns one, and apparently his camp is saying that he would prefer a good offensive coordinator job over a bad head coaching job. But I know you obviously if you get a good head coaching job, you take it. So I think he would take the Ravens, potentially take the Falcons, but I think I think the quarterback thing is going to scare him too much out of it. But the issue is the Lions also need an OC, and you don't have to deal with
Oh,
the drama that the Eagles cause, right? With AJ Brown, is he getting the ball enough? You don't have to deal with Nick Sirianni's antics. Like I would take the Lions OC job over the Eagles OC
yeah.
job, like any
I
day of the
agree
week.
100%.
And the Lions
Imagine
apparently,
if the
and the
Lions get
Lions,
Mike McDaniel,
and
dude.
the Lions want him. The
Yeah.
Lions
Oh,
apparently,
yeah.
it's a big rumor that they want him, and I think Mike McDaniel's just waiting out to see if he gets like the Ravens job. I think he wanted the Giants job, but I think he's looking for those. If he doesn't get those, he's going there. So I'm kind of like set my my hopes, my sights a little bit down, and want like obviously Mike McDaniel will be one, but I would be happy with Cliff Kingsbury or Brian Dable both at this point. Brian
Yeah,
Dable obviously
both
worked
would
with
be
Jalen
cool.
Hurts back when he was at Bama, and I think he could push him, get a lot more play action going in there. Like I think we forget like due to all the Giants injuries they had, and obviously it wasn't very good teams, but that he made the playoffs with Daniel Jones and won a playoff game, and that they did have some success, but it was just riddled with injuries his entire time. It's almost kind of how I feel about Robert Saleh, who I saw your Cardinals are going to interview,
Yeah, I'm
which I think
so
would be a
excited
home
about it.
run hire because the Jets, when they had Robert Saleh, they had a top 5 defense. They were in games and they were 500 when Zach Wilson started games under Robert Saleh.
Exactly.
So if you can say, hey, we get this guy with Zach Wilson and kind of this ragtag defense. They had a top 5 defense and they won half their games they played with Zach Wilson. Do you think that'd work with the Cardinals? Yeah, I think that sounds like it's going to work with
Yeah.
any team. Robert Saleh got such a bad, he drew such a bad stick. I think he got like a little bit too enamored by the idea of being in New York. So he accepted a bad Jets job and thought that maybe Zach Wilson was going to be good because he's not an offensive guy. But if I told you your defense can show up every week and you're going to be in games, you can win games with whoever your quarterback is. So I think it would be a home run hire for the Cardinals if they got Robert Saleh, and that's kind of where I put Brian Daboll as well. I think Robert Saleh is a better version, but obviously one's defense and offense. But I think both of those coaches got kind of like short sticks when they just got unlucky when they were head coaches.
Yeah, I agree. Let's a little bit of a tangent there.
Yeah.
So I apologize bringing that up, but let's bring it back into the predictions. Next, we have, well, I guess we were talking Niners Seahawks. I want to go Niners for the value, kind of like what you were saying. And they already lost the Seahawks in their last matchup, beat the Seahawks earlier on in the season when they were healthy. I'm literally 50-50 as far as like where I value my money. So I'm kind of with you on I'll probably throw it on Niners. I've been pretty adamant this whole time. I'm not a big Sam Darnold believer. He does great during the regular season, great quarterback. But we've seen over the last couple weeks, misses his targets a lot lately. And we saw what happened last year in the playoffs. So I'm going to need him to show me that. Seahawks also play better away, funny enough. And this Niners team, dude, no matter what happens to them, they're gritty. Now, Fred Warner's not back yet, right?
No, earliest he can come back, they say, is the championship game. So
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's like they're still missing a lot, and Kittle going down, that's a big hit too. That's what really worries me is, are they going to have enough playmaking in the offense? Because right now it's basically CMC's game, right? So can you get something out of your receivers? Can Brock Purdy show up and have a good game, or is it going to be like what we saw last time these two teams faced off? But as you said, I kind of like taking the +7 and even sprinkling something on the money line for the value as well, because I think it's that close of a matchup. Okay, starting us off Sunday, we have the Houston Texans going into New England to take on a team that just came off. Actually, that was another game that wasn't great, was the Sunday night game as well. So that, and they had a late game touchdown. The reason it wasn't great was because no one was scoring. Justin Herbert has to
sucks in the
figure it out, dude.
playoffs.
He has to figure it out. I mean,
So bad.
his job might be in question here shortly.
And I saw the all 22 angle. For those that don't know, it's a camera angle that's a little bit higher up that shows all the players moving at the same time, so you can see like what the quarterback has, like as far as the pass rush while routes are being ran. And there was on many occasions wide open Chargers receivers way down the field that he was just not pulling the trigger on, because I think he was afraid to throw picks. I almost think he has like a fear of the playoffs, because I get the offensive line wasn't good. But if you watch, I think he got sacked 6 times. Like 3 of them were his fault. One of them, he literally was just kind of like running around without pressure and like kind of just like almost ran into the back of his lineman. But I'm like, this dude is just not a good playoff quarterback. And it kind of isn't shocking to me, because my take on him when he came into the league is that he wasn't a winner, because he never won the Pac-12 at Oregon, which makes no sense, because the Pac-12, obviously we know, wasn't that strong. That's why it got essentially relegated into a bunch of different conferences. But yeah, I just think he's just not necessarily maybe the biggest moment quarterback. And we see other quarterbacks that aren't great in the regular season, and then they're really good big moment quarterbacks. So anyways, that's a tangent on the Chargers. But shout out for the Patriots to making them look bad, and shout out to the Texans for making the Steelers look bad. So 2 teams coming off big wins. In this one, I'm going to go with the Texans. That defense, I think, is absurd. Patriots haven't played anybody. And the Texans defense, literally, if you look at their defensive scheme, they don't blitz a lot because they know that they can get 4 rushers home. They're playing
And they
cover
still get to the
two,
quarterback every
zone
time.
coverage, which is like obviously is easier than playing man. You got to keep your eyes downfield. So if Drake May wants to run, all those DBs, they're in their zone and they're kind of looking at the quarterback instead of turning their back. So I don't think Drake May's going to be able to scramble as much. He's really going to have to know his reads, and the issue is he's going to be getting a lot of pressure. Um, and the Patriots we know didn't play anybody. And what hurt if and it almost what this Texans defense kind of reminds me of is the Eagles defense of last year that we saw go on that run, where all they did in the Super Bowl was they never blitzed once. They brought 4 every time, and they knew they could get home. And then they just dropped into coverage, kept the eyes downfield. Patrick Mahomes, or the eyes back in the backfield, they couldn't. Patrick Mahomes couldn't scramble for yards, really get any rushing yards, and they would just be watching him, watching him, watching him, and then boom, picks. And so the only thing that's slightly concerning is I don't think I've ever seen a worse performance from a quarterback that won a playoff game than C.J. Stroud last week. But my take is going to be it can't be worse. C.J. Stroud can't play worse than he did last week, and they
That's
won
true.
the game. They won the game by what 3 touchdowns. So if he plays slightly better, does that mean they would have won by 4 or 5 touchdowns last week? So I'm going to take the Texans mainly because you get good value, you get points, and you get a plus 150 on it.
Dude, imagine that. CJ Stroud begging to lose the game. But because the defense scores 2 touchdowns, it's not even a conversation for who's going to win. Crazy, man. And yeah, I mean, they bailed them out. And, I was kind of hoping you were going Patriots. But I said in the video last week, I have Texans upsetting Patriots here. I'm going to stick with it. I didn't think the Patriots looked great against a Chargers defense that wasn't great. And we're getting to a point where, the conversation has been Patriots have lacked strength of schedule, right? And so they've lacked that adversity over the season. And I think we might see that exploited in this game where it's like you said, Drake May, is he going to be able to scramble last game? And, that's kind of what got them through the game was his scramble ability. Is he going to be able to scramble? The Houston Texans defense is unmatched. We saw that against the Steelers, against Aaron Rodgers, mind you, a very experienced quarterback. Now, that you could say that hurt or helped him having Aaron Rodgers because he's old and, a little slow as well. But, yeah, I think everything I'm seeing from if I'm an offense right now, I do not want to see the Texans. If I'm a team, I don't know if I want to even see the Texans, right? See, it's like we said, CJ Stroud begging to lose that game. And they still win 30-6 was the final score. Like, how do you have he had 5 fumbles, not lost fumbles. I think he had 3 lost fumbles, right? But 5 total fumbles, Chase, and they won by 24. So
and a horrible pick. Or was it 2 picks?
yeah,
1 pick. 1 pick.
I think it was 1 pick, but it was egregious.
Horrible.
And so it's like you said, right? He can't have worse than that. But I'm almost like, with this defense, I'm almost like, even if he goes out and he has another bad game, where say this game he throws 2 picks, I wouldn't be surprised if they still win because this defense is unreal. So I have Texans as well, taking the +3 for a +100 right now, so you can also get them at a +3.5 for even value, and then the money line for a +150 as well. And then the final game of the divisional round. And I hope it's cinematography. It's going to be the Rams Bears. Okay. Now, we got a guy over in Chicago. And listen, love him or hate him, he is fun to watch. But I'm on the side that hates him. I hate everything I see from him off the field. And, he's one of those guys that he almost has aura. But then you just see everything he's doing off the field. He's trying to be different. He's trying to do something, fingernails and all. And you're just like, dude, this is a guy. And then you hear his conversation. It's like, this just isn't a guy I can get behind. I think most people who aren't Chicago fans are kind of the same way on it. But the funny thing is he's got a new nickname, Chase. They're calling him the Iceman. And what do you think of that?
So corny. Like... yeah,
where does that even stem from? Is it because he plays well in the cold?
I think it's partially that, but I also think it's like in clutch time, like,
yeah, ice and veins kind of thing.
He's got ice in the veins, right? Because they've had all those comeback wins. I hate the comeback wins stat for two reasons. Like, I mean, I think it's like, okay, it's good. You could come back and win. But why do you need to come back and win? Right? It's because Caleb Williams played like trash for 3 quarters and they were down 13 points and then he needed to play well. Like, Ben Johnson's offense looked so much better last year with Jared Goff, where it's Jared Goff leads the league in completion percentage. Jared Goff has a 110 passer rating. Jared Goff throws for 40 touchdowns. Now we watch it this year and it's like, okay, so Caleb Williams is essentially, his statistically is slightly better than last year. He completes under 60% of his passes. He has like an 80 something passer rating. It's like, okay, it's like pretty much the same, maybe a little bit more yards and a little bit more touchdowns because they run the ball better and it's a better offense overall. But it's like, I don't think they're not winning because of Caleb Williams, right? It's like the Texans aren't winning because of CJ Stroud. The Broncos aren't winning because of Bo Nix. It's not like it's, the Rams where it's like, okay, we get this is the Matthew Stafford show, you know? Um, but yeah, so honestly, I'm a big Caleb Williams hater, but that being said, the weather, it's going to be a cold one. 15 degrees, wind chill is probably going to be sub-zero. It's going to be snowing. And if that forecast holds up, I am all over this Bills team. The Bears team. Bears plus 3.5.
The clip was almost gonna be so hard.
So hard, almost. But it's better that way because that's more
Yeah.
my style is
That's fair.
making mistakes, not having great takes. Bears plus 3.5, plus 170 on the money line. The Bears run the ball better than the Rams do, which we know in weather games, super important. I think the Bears defense is every bit as good as this Rams defense. We've seen the Rams, they really haven't looked great the last 3 weeks. And if they get in a dogfight, it's all about who wants it more. And the Chicago Bears are starving for it. Give me the Bears on the money line, the plus 3.5 if it's bad weather. If it's somehow the weather forecast clears up and it's like an hour before game time and you see, oh, no more snow, the wind's going to die down, then give me a Caleb Williams trash game and I'll be on the Rams. But for now, we're on the Bears.
Siding with Iceman, Ben Johnson, and the boys. Now, real quick, before I get into my take on this game, what do you think of the Ben Johnson awkward handshake post-game beating the Green Bay Packers?
The only reason he did it is because when Matt LaFleur beat him to start the season, that's what he did. He just ran up. He just ran up to him and shook him. The first time, no, it was the first time Matt LaFleur did start the season. Matt LaFleur, he beat them one time this year. I think it was the first game. And he just ran up to him, shook his hand, and just kept running. Because, right, Ben Johnson had said all that, in his opening interview, I love beating him twice a year or whatever. So Matt LaFleur, when he won that first matchup this season, he went, shook his hand, and ran off, right? Which was kind of justified because Ben Johnson was, talking all that smack. And he's just like, I'm not giving you the moment. So then now Ben Johnson beats him. And it's like, I ain't giving you the moment either. Boom. No, so I don't know. It was kind of interesting.
What do you think is more savage? Doing that back to him or walking up and just crisp handshake and just walking away? Because to me, I think that's savage.
Yeah, I would say either one I think is going to be savage. You beat a guy that's like your enemy, like pretty much whatever you do is savage. He could have gone up, crisp handshake, looked him in the eyes and said, get him next year, buddy. And that would have been savage.
I think that's cold, dude.
That would have been savage. Doing the quick one, I also think was savage. It could have been super savage if he's like, look.
I don't know why. I just don't love it as much.
He could have, but I honestly think I would have loved it if he would have like given him, like if there would, I like it when these coaches are friends. If he would have gone up and been like, he's like, I know I said all that stuff at the beginning of the season, but I did need a third game to get it done, or something, and then they laugh or something, but I don't know.
So what do you think of Ben Johnson's all his just theatrics in general, right? You probably saw the locker room video, F the Packers, right?
I don't love it all. The funny thing is the Eagles coach is Nick Sirianni, who's like probably the king of all that stuff, of like antics and like showing emotion.
Though, so.
And so I think the difference between Sirianni and Ben Johnson is Ben Johnson's a little bit toned down on the antics, and then he at least calls the plays on offense, so he deserves more credit. But I don't love it. I love my coaches being like Kyle Shanahan, LaFleur, Andy Reid, where they're pretty much calm, cool, and collected. And if they show emotion, I like it being how Dan Campbell shows emotion, where it's all about his guys
Excitement for
and
your
not like
guys.
demeaning other teams. Like for example, Dan Campbell, when he's like showing emotion, it's, they're going to ban they're looking to ban the tush push. Dan Campbell's like, no, I don't want to ban it. What? We can stop it. We got the players to stop it. It's like it's all about him and not like, oh, I hate them because they're doing this, or like, oh, f this team because we don't like him, we hate him. He's like, no, I just love my guys so much, and we're so passionate about the people we have in this locker room that then he gets fired up for his guys. So if my coach is going to show emotion, I want it to be like Dan Campbell, but I probably prefer that he just doesn't in general, like a Shanahan, like a LaFleur, like a, you know, Andy Reid. Those are the guys that I kind of think that's the standard of what coaches should be.
Yeah, I feel the same. Because you also don't want to coach like Signetti over there, who's just stone face, and he up 50, another touchdown.
Actually,
On
I
to the
would
next.
not. That level of winning, if this is where I felt like
Maybe that's a different side of aura.
when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in that whole season, I gave Sirianni a pass because when you win, you can't really, talk bad about him, right?
Right.
So like with Kurt Signetti right now, it's like he's doing like all these stares, and half of it I think has to be theatrics.
You think
But
so?
I can't say anything because all that dude does is win and win big. He's blowing out good teams. Anyways, Indiana's gonna win it all. Miami doesn't stand a chance if Kurt Signetti brings out the stare.
Yeah, not even close. Man, dude, I've been so high on the Rams all season long, and I also think it'd be electric for him to win here, because then we're gonna have in the NFC Championship Rams versus a divisional opponent. Excuse me. And so I want the Rams to win so bad, and I do think if the Rams beat the Bears here, they make it to the Super Bowl. I think they're beating whoever they face in the NFC Championship. But I mean, everything you're saying about the Bears, the run game, the cold. These boys are from LA, where it's pampered, it's nice, it's warm, right? You got Sean McVay, phenomenal head coach, but then you got Ben Johnson on the other side, phenomenal head coach, phenomenal OC, and Matt Stafford hasn't looked as good. Maybe that age creeping up a little bit. Puka Nacua, he's had some drama, some distractions in the air. That being said, give me the Rams to beat the Bears.
I thought you were going to say, give me the Rams to lose to the Bears.
Now, what they've done all season long, Chase, is they've played at their opponent's level. Okay. And here's the thing. Matt Stafford, he's pissed. Sean McVay, he's pissed. Coming off of a way too close game against the 8-9 Carolina Panthers squad, who, by the way, played their tails off. Shout out to them. But there's no way the Rams, after the season they just had, are going to go in and lose to a Chicago Bears squad that didn't even get talked about until about week 15 in the NFL. So, yeah, give me the Rams to win this one. Now the spread is tricky. 4.5 right now on DraftKings. Spread is tricky. Probably have the Bears covering. I think it's going to be a close one again. I could see, similar to last game where it's a last-minute touchdown or a last-minute field goal for the win. And I'm going to trust that, all these Chicago Bear comebacks is eventually going to come to a halt, right? You can't come back every game. I think that's going to happen right here. I'm probably so far off right now, but that's what we love about the NFL. So give me the Rams to beat the boys. And yeah, we got an exciting divisional round, Chase. I'm excited for it. I know you're excited for it. You got a new watching partner, so that's kind of fun. Anything else you want to break down or close off with here?
I want to close off with a free play. And it's rare that a plus 4,000 or more is free, right? Most times people think a free line is a minus 110, a minus
You're giving us a
200,
plus 4,000.
plus 4,000 free.
I
Okay.
can't wait for the free
And
plus
then
4,000.
if you're not like fully confident in the free plus 4,000, you can take just like a guaranteed money as well.
Okay.
But what you're gonna do, it's gonna be a super fun way to watch this too. We're gonna rock a parlay. Bills on the money line, underdog plus 100. Niners plus 270 parlay that. Texans plus 150. Rams, Bears, you're going to take the Bears plus 170. That's a
I'll
plus
take it
4,000.
because I'll hedge my
plus.
happiness.
And then what you get to do is now hypothetically say somehow the stars don't align properly and the Bills lose that first round, right? Say you put $10 on it to win 400 plus.
Plus
Now what you're
5,000 on FanDuel, by the way. Maybe switch
Okay, there
it
you go.
up.
So to win 500 there, $10 wins 500. What you're going to do then is if the Bills lose, you're going to go and you're going to take that $10 you're down and you're going to go hammer the 49ers money line, the other three, Texans money line, Bears money line. That's going to give you probably like a plus, let's probably put another $10 on that. That would win 250. Say somehow that one loses. Shouldn't, right? The stars will be aligned.
Mhm.
Then you're going to go parlay the plus 150, plus 170, put another $10 on that, kind of hedge. Now, say somehow that one loses, right? You're now down $30 going into that last game, and you're like, okay, look, we had a lot of fun trying to make this happen. Let's just make sure we get our winnings back. You could literally go put you could put literally a $20 wager on the Bears, to win, and that'll win you what? That'll win you like 50 something bucks. So you'll be in the green $20 on the week. So I literally gave you the chance of a lifetime to win. Turn $10 into 500. $10 into 500.
You just need every dog to win this week.
I know, but then if that doesn't happen, then you parlay the other three. Oh, win $250, you lose 10, you're up 240. Oh, that one doesn't hit. Okay, parlay the other two together. $10 wins you 40, you're up $20 this week. Oh, if that one doesn't hit, put a little $20 wager on the plus 170. Oh, up $20. Worst case scenario, you're down 50. Best case scenario, you're up a bunch. And if you want, bet them all individually. That's the safe way to do it. Bet the plus 100 individually, plus 270, the plus 150, the plus 170. If two of them hit, you're in the green. If the Niners hit and one other hits, you're well into the green. If three of them hit, you're rolling in it. So all of those is free. Rip the money lines. It's way more fun rooting for the dogs. I mean, who cares about all the plus minus spread? No. Give me the money lines. Let's rock them. Let's have some fun. If all four of them lose, you're down $50. You live to fight another day. There's another bullet in the chamber. It's called the championship round. You lose there, one more bullet in the chamber, call it the Super Bowl. You'll lose there, one more bullet in the chamber, call it the draft. One more bullet in the chamber.
Listen, what's even nicer is before the draft, we got March Madness. So you can just keep unloading until it hits.
And talk about the time to bet the dogs. Dogs bark in March, except last year. But anyways.
Last year, so they're due. Hey, listen, if you made it this far, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Now, we came on here saying we're going to bring you a shortened episode. We only shortened it by probably about 20 minutes. We were planning on doing a 15-minute episode, but, Chase and I, we like to ramble about football. But, hey, listen, show some love. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's get this thing growing on the road to 1,000. We appreciate y'all, and we out. Peace.